What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Chris and Ralph Productions. I'm Chris, and this is officially episode 2 of Chris R Times DC. I got to work on that title. This is something that I wanted to use as a placeholder for right now. But if you are new to the channel, then this series, this episode, this show is where we focus on DC news week to week. We talk about casting rumors, the upcoming films, upcoming TV shows, and just overall just DC news going on online. So last week we covered the Aquaman reshoots, the predicted box office for Blue Beetle, and some other stuff, and the casting for Superman Legacy. Today we're going to get more into some of the Blue Beetle promotion. We're going to get into, as you see right behind me, the Flash director reveals tragic reason why Michael Keaton's Batman retired. Has some thoughts on that. And then we got some Shazam, and then some other, just casting rumors and things like that. But let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get into this article right here. All right, so like I already mentioned, the Flash director, Andy Muschietti. There was a deleted scene for the Flash movie where it was the scene where Barry Allen and the young Barry Allen were riding the Batwing with Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton, and basically they were discussing about why did Michael Keaton retire as Batman for all those years? Well, simply, it just said during this conversation, young Barry Allen told our Barry Allen that this Batman killed a kid in the alleyway in front of his parents, and that prompted him to retire. Muschietti explains that Keaton's Dark Knight decided to retire from being a superhero after killing a criminal in front of their children or in front of their child, thus going against his code and mirroring the event that led him to become Batman in the first place. All right, so a couple of things. Personally, I am glad they cut that out of the film because I am not a big fan of that story point. Um, Obviously, Batman, the reason why he is Batman is because he witnessed his parents get killed in front of him in a, crime alleyway. We've seen it thousands of times. We already know the premise of that. So for us, the audience, to see or to hear potentially that Michael Keaton killed a kid in front of his parents, that's just so not Batman. A couple of things. One, I'm glad they cut it because I would have not had to like to hear that in the theater watching this film because it would have threw me off as a massive Batman fan. And two, I don't think this plays into any effect of how Muschietti is going to direct Brave and the Bold. We know that James Gunn appointed him after seeing The Flash. Um, I was talking to Ralph yesterday or the day before about we rewatched The Flash here at home, and I was very, very pleased with the way that Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck, the way that the Batman fight scenes, the choreography, the dialogue, how all that was portrayed on the big screen. So I am looking forward to Muschietti's his take on Brave and the Bold and how that's going to look. Obviously, I want to know who's going to be Batman. A lot of people are pushing for Jensen Ackles. I think he would be a dope Batman. He already voices him in a lot of the animated movies. Um, but that's his article. I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. Was not a massive fan of this take, and I'm glad they got rid of it from the movie. All right, let's go ahead and get into some Blue Beetle. So we know Blue Beetle comes out August 18th. So we are more than 2 weeks, a little bit more than 2 weeks away, and they're already starting up on the promotions. So right here, the trailer, which we didn't do a reaction to because this trailer gave so much away. We actually saw it in the theater for I don't know what movie we saw the other day, and it gave so much away. But right here, you have the cast doing the pre-recorded, promotions where they answer questions from the fans, some of their favorite songs, some of their favorite snacks. And right now, obviously, there is the strike going on with the Writers Guild and then the Actors Guild. I don't know the name. I forget the name. SAG. There you go. I think that's the name. So, obviously, if you're not aware of this strike, basically all actors cannot promote any of their films, like do live interviews, do the red carpet. They can go like on those YouTube channels that they do interviews for. They can't do any of that stuff. So right here they have pre-recorded footage of them promoting the movie, which is expected for all movies, all major DC Marvel movies, they have this. They've been doing this a lot recently that I've noticed the last couple of years, where they have them standing on a stage, answering questions, interacting with each other, just basically showing the chemistry that they have. And then we got some dope footage from the actual. See right here, it's in Spanish. I absolutely love that. And what else do they have? So we got some promotional art at a local theater. And then they actually had the premiere. I don't know if I think they had it in Puerto Rico or somewhere. You had it right here. You have the director right here promoting the movie. Dope. Oh no, this is in the UK. Okay, all right. They did it somewhere else too. And then yeah, I just wanted to get into Blue Beetle. Guys, go watch it in theaters. I think this movie looks pretty dope. They're already pushing it to have like a nomination for visual effects, and from the looks of it, it looks really clean. It looks really fun. And then they have fan screenings. Oh yeah, in the UK, people just enjoying the movie so far. I haven't really read any of the feedback. I don't think anybody is allowed because of the review embargo or the social media embargo. So I don't think there's anything out there just yet. But people are promoting this movie. People who influence things like that. The director himself. Obviously, unfortunately, you can't have the cast do it. George Lopez, Jola Manajuela, just people like that. This sucks, but it is what it is because of the strike. And then I absolutely love the suit. But there is something that I did want to get into. So today, I believe Zack Snyder tweeted out this. It was 10 hours ago. He said, "Looking forward to taking my kids to see Blue Beetle. Hashtag representation matters. Hashtag Blue Beetle." He used this artwork from the film. 69,000 likes. I'll go ahead and give that a like. And yeah, I think this is really dope. Whether it's him on his own or the studio reached out to him like, "Hey Zach, would you mind promoting this movie?" I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, I think it's pretty dope to have Zack Snyder promoting this film. Because although personally I've had my qualms about the films, at the end of the day I really like and love Zack Snyder as a person. He's passionate and all that. So just to see, what he basically said, looking forward to seeing it with my kids, and hashtag representation does matter. Um, like I've mentioned in our past videos, Blue Beetle is the first Mexican American led superhero movie. So just to have Zack Snyder, a giant name in DC, and obviously the director and all that, just do whatever little promotion they can do, and big promotion like this is definitely going to help. At the end of the day, like I mentioned, it sucks that this movie's not going to get the box office isn't looking too good. But we shall see. I don't know if it's gonna have legs in the second, third week. But me and Ruff are gonna be there day one. I already have my day scheduled to go see that movie when it comes out. All right, so moving past Blue Beetle, Shazam, which came out earlier this year in March, absolutely bombed. I don't even know if it made its money back. I think it lost money. Overall thoughts on the movie, I think I've given it on this channel. We did a out of the theater reaction and a regular a review. um I had a good time in the theater watching this movie. I do like the first one more than the second one. But overall I think the only issue, and I think a lot of people pointed this out, is the way that Zachary Levi portrayed Billy Batson, as the way as what's that actor's name, Asher something. I forget his last name. Um, but they portrayed Billy Batson totally differently. It was a giant contrast, which did not help that character in that film. But overall, I did enjoy the movie, but not a lot of people did. So right here, Zachary Levi says he's still not informed if he's going to be continuing as Shazam in James Gunn's DCU, and he simply put a quote, "I don't know what the future holds because Fury of the Gods was not well received. I have no idea where we go from here." A couple of things. Shazam is not getting a third part. They're not doing that. That's pretty obvious. Made a lot less money than the first one, and the first one itself wasn't a box office breaker. It made, I believe, close to 450 or under four, something or somewhere around that ballpark. It made its money back and then some. But it wasn't like it was breaking the bank. This one, the second one, obviously was not well received and it bombed, so they're not going to make a third one. um as far as James Gunn's DCU, I personally would want them just to do a full reboot, but obviously we're getting Peacemaker season 2, we're getting Amanda Waller, which is both of those projects I cannot wait to see because I really love that Suicide Squad team, that Suicide Squad corner of the DC and DCU now. But if they, I said it in the past in our past videos, if they would have continued with Zachary Levi as Shazam, I would have been fine with it. I think I enjoy him as Billy Batson. But in the grand scheme, looking at it, I would rather just have them recast the character, recast Billy Batson, recast Shazam. Go with someone else, go with a different face, a new take, and who knows, they might not even introduce Shazam anywhere near the future in the DCU. I know that post-credit scene with Harcourt and Economos, where they showed up to basically have Billy Batson be part of, I believe, the GLA Justice League. No, was it Justice Society or was it the JLA? No, it wasn't the JLA. JLA wasn't established in the DCEU. It was a Justice Society where they're basically going to have him be a part of the team. And then, the whole drama, if you're aware of the drama with all that, that it was supposed to be Hawkman and someone else, I believe, but there was last minute, dropouts. They weren't allowed to film. I think The Rock intervened. I don't know. That whole thing's a whole mess. But, Zachary Levi, he doesn't know much what's going to happen. I will say this. So I follow Peter Safran. No, not Peter Safran. Peter Safran's wife, where she's been in DC projects, Marvel projects. Natalie Safran. I think that's her name. And it was late last year or early this year where her, Peter, and Zachary Levi and a couple other people were at a ski resort. And I remember when I saw that photo, that stood out to me because is it them further building the relationship with Zachary and DC? This was before Shazam came out, so obviously they probably weren't predicting a giant bomb. So they most likely had higher hopes and, had a better look at what they thought it was going to be in the future for that character. But after the results, and then Warner Brothers, Zaslav, I'm sure he's going to have say. And who knows? Zaslav is probably telling. I don't know who Shazam is. I don't care who Shazam is. I heard it bombed. Or I know it bombed. Just recast. That's probably what's going to end up happening. So we shall see. Zachary Levitt, his performance is fine, but I would rather have him just recast. And just a couple other things I wanted to touch on. Some DCU Superman casting rumors. So this one's been floating around a lot on social media, and it's been picking up traction almost every day. So Skylar Gisondo, he was in a couple of projects. Let me go ahead and look up with some projects that he's been in. Oh, not print. Search. Excuse me. Movies and TV. He was in Vacation. Night of the Museum. Righteous Gemstones, which is on right now. It's still going. He's in Booksmart. Night at the Museum. He's in TASM. I don't remember him. He's probably at the high school or something. And, he's did various projects over his career. Probably his most notable project is Vacation. And then Righteous Gemstones for sure. But basically what they're saying is that this is a rumor from Daniel RPK on Twitter, or X, sorry. Skylar Gisondo was the top choice to play Jimmy Olsen in Superman Legacy before the actor strike, which is still going on. It's possible he's already been booked for the role. Great casting. And just by the looks of it, I think this is a great casting. If it does end up becoming true. Just look at that resemblance. He is a walking Jimmy Olsen. Couple of things. I have seen his performance in Vacation and things like that, and he just resonates sort of like the best friend, golden retriever type of vibe, and that's who Jimmy Olsen is. He's Clark Kent's best friend. He's always there, for photography and things like that. And I'm already seeing it. Him next to David Corrswet, at the Daily Planet, talking about, the news and all that. And then you have Lois Lane and Richard Brosnahan. So if this is true, I think it would be a perfect casting. Just based off of his performances in his other movies. Like I mentioned, he's great energy, vibrant, golden retriever type energy, the best friend type energy. So I think he could definitely bring it as Jimmy Olsen. We shall see if this does become true. Daniel RPK, he's had a lot of rumors in the past that have come true. He's a scooper. So if he's in on this and he knows he has like a sources and stuff like that, I think this is a great cast right here. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to get into for this episode is this Brainiac news. It's not really news, but it is something to keep an eye on for the future. Definitely, this is just a little nugget. So right here, the DCU Direct page on Instagram, DC has highlighted Superman Brainiac's arc among other comics that have inspired Superman Legacy. Will Brainiac be the villain of the movie? And this would be badass. I know for the script for Man of Steel 2, I believe Brainiac was supposed to be the villain, but we never got that. So we're gonna have this in DCU. A couple of things. Brainiac, he is a badass villain. He's probably, honestly, I would rather see him than Lex Luthor in the first Superman Legacy movie. If you're gonna introduce Lex Luthor, then introduce him. Obviously, he is, he's Superman's Joker. He's Batman's Joker. I'm saying it all wrong, but you know what I mean. Lex Luthor's Lex Luthor, a badass Superman top tier villain, and so is Brainiac. My only thing is when they introduce him, how they're gonna do it. Um, are they gonna do it like and they did in the comics or the DC animated film that came out years ago? I am curious, but if this is true, I think this is pretty badass. We are getting a Lex Luthor because there's already been rumors, massive rumors about him being in the film or at least being casted. So for DC to highlight the comics that have inspired Superman Legacy, and there's two ways to look at this. Maybe the way that Superman has been portrayed in those comics, that's what James Gunn is going to take a look at and have that as inspiration, or maybe it's the actual story of Brainiac, fighting Superman, and that's going to be our main villain for Superman Legacy. Nonetheless, if this is true, I think it's pretty badass. But yeah, guys, I guess that's pretty much it. A couple of things we covered. The Batman, Michael Keaton killing parents in front of kids. That's a no-no. I don't like that. Blue Beetle, Zack Snyder promoting it, pretty badass. Zachary Levi most likely gone as Shazam. Actor Skylar Gisondo is being rumored to be Jimmy Olsen. I think it would be a pretty great cast. And the DC has highlighted Brainiac's comic run as inspiration for Superman Legacy, which can probably lead to the film. But guys, that is pretty much it. Hope you have watched our videos and you've been a supporter. If you have not, if this is your first video, please consider subscribing. We do this episodes of the DC Times CR. I'm still working on that title. Weekly. I try to do it towards the end of the week where most of the news has gathered, so I can go ahead and cover some of it. If there's stuff that I missed, I do apologize, but this is stuff that I just wanted to highlight. And yeah, we do reactions, we do reviews, we do YouTube shorts, we do a bunch of things. So please consider subscribing. But until then, guys, I'm Chris. Peace.